This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football, certainly it's going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loved so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
One time for old times. What do you say we play some football as we are underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy Game? And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL, and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams that had mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Like the footwork back there, I thought he did a pretty good job of evading that first wave of players. Tried to buy a little extra time out of the pocket, but in the end, oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah, winds up getting buried for the loss. That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now second down and 22 yards to go. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. He played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft of 30 rounds then.
A nice job getting free on the return for 13 yards. And the AFC will take over 1st and 10. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning. And that's caught at the 25. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25.
They started this drive with terrific field position, and it's going to get even better after that play. Had great options with where they started, so they decided to press their advantage, and it paid off.
And a good run as he manages 7 yards down to the 17. Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles, with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Norm Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons, he coached with the Vikings. And was there during that time. I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock. and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach. The guy who could throw it around pretty well, Doc Coryell.
He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. So we're through one at the Coliseum in Oakland. 0-0 our score. This is the AFC with a football here to begin the second quarter, as they've got it 2nd down and 11.
Easy.
On the draw, here's Allen. And they see right through that defensively, as he'll be hit and taken down to the backfield. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a 3rd down and 12.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
Now a play fake, Brady. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. The coverage good that time by the NFC defense. Brings up 4th down.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. Vinatieri's kick is good. And the AFC on the board first. It's 3-0. So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell us end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number 1. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
And Hester content to hold on to this one and bring it out to the 25. With the NFC offense coming out here. And you know, Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game and he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
Favre. Got a man. It's Randy Moss, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. Well, Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon. Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. They had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just
thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Picked up by the Hall of Famer Junior Seau. And he'll take it across midfield to the 46-yard line.
I think this was going to arrive very simply because he overestimated his arm strength and his ability to fit it anywhere he wants to. A lot of quarterbacks do that and often pay the price.
They'll run with Allen. And some room. There he goes, left side. And all the way in for the touchdown. Marcus Allen, 46 yards. And they're able to add on to their advantage. So the turnover sets it up, and then a touchdown run here on the ensuing play.
And Brandon, a lot of times you see teams take shots in the passing game on a quick change like this. They go right back and throw one for the end zone. Here they just called a running play looking to get a few yards. But he's able to work his way downfield and take it into the end zone. The end result, the exact same thing as going for it in the passing game.
Vinatieri able to tack on the PAT. And the lead grows to 10-0. So they hit pay dirt on just one play. The long run, the scamper, and a very nice scamper into the end zone for the touchdown. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The NFC heading back out. Hall of Famer Randy Moss a part of this offense. And Coach Madden, boy, he always appreciated the ferociousness with which number 84 attacked the football in the air.
As Randy Moss says, just chunk it up there, dog, and I'll go get it.
And, Coach, boy, did he ever go get it. Over 15,000 receiving yards, 156 touchdowns. And how about this? From his rookie year of 1998 until 2009, those were his prime seasons, right? He led the league in touchdowns 5 times, but even more so, he showed us all how to go up and get it. Great body control. No one's ever done it better playing the ball in the air.
Here's Favre to throw. He'll take a shot for the end zone. And this a leaping effort, but it's knocked away and incomplete. So the failure to connect on second down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Now Favre. Got a man, it's Jerry Rice. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. So a big play as it gets them all the way down to the 20 now for 1st and 10. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
Certainly looked like someone was very confident in his ability to fit that one in. I would say he was overconfident because there wasn't a whole lot of separation there. Had that one covered pretty well downfield and knocked it away.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
They haven't been able to stop them so far this series, but getting a nice little stand from their defense now.
To throw is Favre. Tries to force it to Megatron, and it's intercepted. Ron Woodson with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. A little over 20 seconds remaining in the half as they'll line up here 1st and 10. So after the INT, it's Brady on the move to his left. That ball is caught. It's Andre Reed. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. Now a timeout signal for, and they'll get him with 10 seconds to go before halftime. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Play action. Now it's Brady. He's going deep for Brown. He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Ramsey. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the 1st half. So this defense coming up with a takeaway, and maybe that's something that can bring a little life to that sideline.
Well, I don't want to say that they've been sleepwalking through this 1st half because that's simply not true, but you're right. We haven't seen a lot of fire from these guys, really, on either side of the...
And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Stephon Gilmore. And he will be brought down on what will be the final play of this 1st half. But coming up in the 2nd half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley. Fielded right around the 8. Oh, a good-looking return set up here. And a nifty return there all the way across the 40.
But one thing I know for sure, the standard speech is to treat the game like it's tied. But when you have an advantage, they also tell you, make sure you don't get your foot off the gas. Message received.
The AFC offense set to take their next drive. Blitz coming, and down he goes. That one will set him back nearly 10 yards here on 1st down of the sack. I'm sure a lot of time was spent in the locker room, Charles, with talking with his defense about setting a tone here in the 3rd quarter when you're down on the scoreboard. A sack like that, maybe that can get them going.
Yeah, you have to believe exactly what you just said, that they got together.
Oh, into a sea of defenders and intercepted. Picked off by the Hall of Famer Kevin Green. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line. that is just what this defense was hoping for, an interception on the opening possession of this third quarter.
Obviously didn't want to surrender a touchdown and fall even farther behind, and we've gotten to know this team a little bit, haven't we? Couldn't you just see their defensive leaders telling the offensive guys, telling the quarterback, don't worry, we got you to start things off. You take it from there.
So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42. He just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember, he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people.
Touchdown! A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the NFC, they take advantage of the interception. They turn it into 6 points. So a strong drive here to lead off this third quarter and gets them right back in this football game.
And I think we can safely call that a statement drive, because they had to be saying, we have put our best foot forward in the first half, but we certainly mean business now. Maybe a better term, a prove-it drive. They proved it to themselves that they were ready to go.
So they'll go ahead and accept the penalty. After the roughing penalty on the PAT, they'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. Dante Hall going to bring it out of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. On play action, now Brady. And Brady going to be intercepted a third time. Picked off by Jalen Ramsey. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line. Boy, Charles, that is now 3 interceptions in 3 consecutive drives, and you can see he's just got a look of disgust and bad body language, understandably, as he walks off the field.
And I think it comes from the fact that he's not sure what he sees down the field, Brandon. I don't know if he's seeing ghosts. I don't know if he just can't read defenses. I'm not sure what it is, but that's why he's frustrated. Think about the defense right now. Every time they run on the field, they've gone from hoping to intercept a pass to expecting to intercept passes. Their confidence at an all-time high right now.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Another run with Sanders. 5 yards on first down, but now just a 1-yard pickup there on 2nd. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately will go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
The Hall of Famer's kick is good, and that will knot us up at 10. So the interception set him up with terrific field position, but 3 points, the end result.
Yeah, we can make this one pretty simple, partner. You always want to end drives with points, but that's one that you're going to look back on and probably say, we should have done better there.
All level now at 10 apiece as the kick's away. Takes it at the 7. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. And a pretty slick return there. Almost got it to the 45. Officially, they'll call him down at the 44.
Well, someone was very happy about that game being tied up. They came right back at him with a big-time return. They want to get back out in front as fast as possible.
The offense for the AFC set to go now. Now, this game, it has obviously been all about the defense on both sides of the football. Which offense is going to break through here? We'll see if they can do it on this drive. And a pretty good burst there as he'll get this across midfield and down to the 46. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the All-Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitchman. And even the Madden Cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
Back now here on EA Sports. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. Now a carry for Allen. And not much. Maybe a yard down to the 23. Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden.
And Coach saw this originally as a way to teach the game of football. The early designs were for a 7-on-7 game, but he said no chance. He would not sign off on it. He wanted to be as realistic as possible. He told them, call me when it's 11-on-11. And he got his wish.
Yeah, after that debut, Madden, the video game, continued to pick up steam through the 90s in a big way. And John himself, many will remember, was a commentator for the series for many years. And now here we are in the 2020s, and this game has sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 million copies. They'll go for it. It's Brady. To the sideline, and he's got it. They say the feet are down. Yes, the line judge says they're in. That'll be a 1st down. So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden, the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person you will not find. He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. So many of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, that the bus talk football amongst themselves. And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others, yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all. And they're going to get to him, a sack. Sack back at the 9-yard line. That time, multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. Now Brady. To the end zone, but knocked away and incomplete. What a game it's been. Neither side giving an inch. 2 minutes to go. All tied in the John Madden Legacy game. So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. This for the lead in the final stages. And Vinatieri's kick is good. And they have taken the lead here in the final 2 minutes. Big kick right there to give them the lead in the 4th, but there is still time left for a final drive.
Did they score too soon? Post-game will tell us, right? Depending on what happens on this drive, that's how we'll analyze it. If the other team scores, they scored too soon. If they somehow hold on, they manage the clock exactly right.
Taken in at the 3. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. He's back to throw. Man open, it's Cup. He's got it. And he's going to be out up around the 35-yard line. That was no 3rd and 2. That was 3rd and 16, but they get the conversion anyway.
You think about John Madden in his retirement years post-broadcasting. He was about as active as most people are in their working years. I mean, he continued to play a key role on the NFL's competition committee. He was available to a wide range of people as a tutor, as a mentor. He continued to teach the game of football to all who would listen. And Charles, as you and I know, he even continued to provide input, a lot of input on the Madden video game.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that design and build this game certainly look forward to their yearly visits out to the Madden compound that he had out in the East Bend. They pitch the new aspects of each year's game to him, get his feedback, and then get to sit back and spend 6 hours with him on a Sunday, watching football and listening to him tell stories and talk even more ball. It had to be an incredible experience for all involved.
They'll look to throw.
And that's intercepted yet again, and that could be the backbreaker.
Derwin James with a pick.
Well, you knew you had to take some chances here with the clock winding down, needing a touchdown to win it, and that one might have just sealed their fate.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the 2-minute drill. The offense trying to go downfield and make their plays. But defenses, they're sitting back watching everything that they do, but not too far back. They want to be in position to make a play on the ball, and that they did.
The AFC offense set to take their next drive. And this one all over but the shouting, you might say. Now, there's one timeout remaining defensively, but probably no real need to use it here.
Yeah, the only time they would use it, strictly for pride.
Now the NFC going to use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go in the football game. This, in all probability, another run here on 2nd and 8. Now Brady. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Gonzalez.
And he's going to be marked down just inside the 35. So it's a win here for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. Before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.